Are you struggling with airless spray tips? Are you struggling figuring out which spray tips to use for line marking? We'll try to help you with this explainer video. On the top of your gun, you see an arrow-shaped accessory. Always put the tip in the right tip guard. First of all, check which spray tips you want to use. Every manufacturer uses different color of spray tips and tip holders. Every tip is used for a different application. In this explainer, we'll focus on Graco line marking tips. First, we'll explain why there are different colors of tips. For line marking, we could use two tips, a black or a yellow. They both use the same tip holder, the orange Rack 5. But why do they have a different color? Well, it's easy. They have a different spray pattern. The yellow spray tips put more paint on the side of the pattern. This helps you to get sharper lines. We don't use the yellow tips to spray stencils or surfaces, because the black tips have a better spray pattern for that. They don't put more paint on the side of the pattern, so you'll have a better result using the black tips for stencils and surfaces. To ensure an even amount of paint on the surface, overlap each spray pass by 50%. So remember, use the yellow tips for spraying lines, and the black tips for spraying surfaces and stencils. Now what about these numbers on all these spray tips?
Well, it's easier if you see it as two separate numbers. Let's take a spray tip with the number 427, for example. On this tip, you'll see the number 4 and the number 27. The first number indicates the width of the tip. In our example with the spray tip 427, we see a number 4. We say that this is a 40-degree angle. The bigger the angle, or the bigger the first number on your spray tip, the wider you will spray. On the spray tip, the last two numbers specify the opening of the tip. This is expressed in thousandths of an inch in diameter. The easiest way to remember is to imagine yourself a round door. The bigger the door, the easier it is to get through. Well, the same goes for your spray tip. The bigger the last two numbers on your tip, the faster or the more paint comes out. We call this the tip orifice. In our example with the spray tip 427, we have an orifice or tip opening of 27 thousandths of an inch. The bigger this number, the bigger the opening. The easier or faster the paint comes out. You see, spray tips are really very easy. Here's what you need to remember. If you want to spray a wider line, you take a spray tip with a bigger angle. If you want to spray a smaller line, you take a tip with a smaller angle. Remember, the angle is the first number on the spray tip. If you want to spray faster or thicker, you need a spray tip with a bigger opening or orifice. If you want to spray slower or thinner, you need a spray tip with a smaller opening or orifice. Remember, the tip opening or orifice are the last two numbers on the spray tip. Now you know how spray tips work.
Don't forget to like or share our explainer with your colleagues and friends. Stay safe, Stripers!